One of my favorite quotes is, the worst thing that a small business can do is to act like a small business. Stop operating your business like a side hustle and really treat it like real business. We have to collect their driver's license, their social, their proof of address. We have their entire life in our hands, really. So we're taking all this information, but you don't want them to see your face? Like, doesn't that sound scammy? You can take exactly what I just taught you right now and apply that to any of your businesses. I don't care what it is. You're delegating the sales. You're delegating the customer service, the disputing, all of that. So what are you doing? That don't mean you go on the island and just enjoy the money that's coming in, because if you do, you'll end up losing. This is another thing in sales or just any business at all. I need more leads. I need more leads. How about you take a course on how to sell? Because one way that you can save money on leads and advertisement is increasing your percentage of your sales.
Welcome back, family, to another exciting episode of the Double Down Podcast. I'm your host, DeAndre Woodson, and today we have a truly special guest. He's known as Rob the Credit Guy, and he's a powerhouse in the credit repair and funding world. Rob has helped countless entrepreneurs transform their financial futures, build thriving businesses, and achieve that freedom that we all dream of. From inspiring success stories to hands-on mentorship, Rob is the go-to expert for anyone looking to elevate their credit game and step into a world of financial empowerment. So get ready, because we're about to dive into the secrets of credit mastery and business growth from one of the best in the game. Let's double down on the insights with Rob the Credit Guy. How you doing, bro?
Let's do it, man. I'm feeling great. Blessed to be here for sure.
Bro, this one for me is a full circle moment. As you know, you were the very first guest I ever had on my very first channel. So to be able to come full circle and sit down with you now in this elevated room, bro, this feels truly, truly wonderful. I'm honestly grateful. Thank you so much for taking the time, bro.
No, likewise, man. And that's really what it's about is, you start and you're kind of like, I got to figure this shit out. And then now you've done multiple sessions, and it's now you said it's elevated. That's what life is about, right? You start something, take action. You might mess up. It might not come out the way you wanted it to, but you don't lose, you learn.
There it is.
And that's what it's about. So I'm definitely blessed to be here, and this is gonna be a great show. So you'll make sure y'all keep watching for sure.
There it is. And then for the audience who doesn't know, man, I know obviously how many mentees you have. I know about your school community, how many people are in that, how many people actually in our industry call you their mentor. But for the audience who's new to you, doesn't actually get the opportunity to be blessed with your presence, man, let them know. How many people have you helped? How many different CRO companies have you been the start of?
Yeah.
Just go ahead, man. Drop some gems on them. Let them know your milestones and your accomplishments.
Absolutely. So this year will be 16 years that I've been doing credit repair. So of course, my wife and I, we own our own credit repair company. And as far as coaching and mentoring, man, I've been doing that for the last 4 years. I was using Go High Level, and then again, elevating our business. I was like, you know what? Let me look into this whole school thing that everybody's talking about. So school was great. So if you want to teach anyone, school is a great platform. So I went there. I've been on school for the last year and a half. And up to today, I have over 700 CROs, business owners that are looking to scale their credit repair business. And but over the last 4 years, I've literally coached a few thousand CROs. And these are people that maybe are struggling to hit $5,000 or $10,000 a month in their credit repair business. So we implement the workflows, the systems, the sales, literally everything, even paid ads. And now they're able to do 10, 20, 50, even I got students that are doing $100,000 a month.
Bro, 6-figure months coming
Absolutely.
from, who knows, maybe working at Burger King, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Or working at the mall, to be able to change your life. I mean, 15,000 a month is life-changing, bro. But You're saying you got mentees 6 figures a month?
Yep.
Come on now.
So I have a couple, man, that I could go on and on with the stories, but one of my favorite is one of my students. He wanted to retire. He's a police officer in Chicago. So number one, let's just give a shout out to the police officers everywhere, but the police officer in Chicago, that city is crazy. So he's like, man, I want to retire. I've been doing this for, I think, like over 20 years. So I was blessed and honored to be able to help him retire. I had another lady, one of my very first students, actually. She was a realtor, and then she was doing good, selling homes. Then COVID happened. So she was like, man, I can't do this no more. It's too hard. And so she started a credit repair company, and now she's doing over $50,000 a month. So there's people have so many different stories. I actually just met at CreditCon, I met a young guy, 18 years old, and he literally told me, I'm broke because I paid every single dollar to be in this room. And at 18 years old, and I was so proud. I just met him, but I was so proud of him because sometimes that's exactly what we have to do. We have to get really uncomfortable, go broke so we could elevate our life to the next level and make sure that we're in the right rooms.
Absolutely. Dude, that's an inspiring story. And then just to think like that is his story. You know what I mean? So if he documents this progress along the way, you know how relatable this kid is going to be able to take that type of leap of faith. That's amazing. What's up, risk takers? Welcome back to the Double Down Podcast. I'm your host, DeAndre Woodson. And if you're ready to stop playing small and start building the empire you are meant for, you're in exactly the right place. Before we dive in today's game-changing episode, do me a quick favor. If you're listening on audio right now, smash that follow button and leave me a 5-star rating. It literally takes you 3 seconds. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell so you never miss the strategies that could change your entire life. Let's talk about it, man. What is a CRO? How do you get started? Do you feel like anybody can do this? Because I'll just lay this out there. This is a little PSA. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. And I say that in all respect because it's hard, bro. We were just talking about it off of camera. There's this meme going around, right? When it's like, oh, when you have a 9 to 5, this is when you're clocked in. But when you're an entrepreneur, that thing's 24/7. Holidays, weekends, it doesn't stop because you need to build. You need to show up, you know what I mean, for your clients. So do you think anybody can do this?
I really, truly, in my heart, believe that anybody can do this as long as you're willing to go all in. I mean, myself, I've wanted to quit. I mean, it's not easy, right? They see us on podcasts, they see the jewelry, they see the cars and all that stuff, but I don't sleep. Like I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7, but it's something that I'm absolutely 1,000% passionate about. So when I wake up with a freaking smile on my face, like, let's get it, and if you don't have that, it's really not going to work. And I'm not even talking about credit repair. I'm talking about anything that you want to do in life. You have to go all in. And you know what? You don't have to be the smartest.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if somebody's outworking you, there's no excuse for that. So you really have to grind. And sometimes grinding is really not all it takes. Because you could have a really great work ethic and you could say, Rob, because I hear it all the day, every day with my students, I'm busting my butt working 7 days a week. You know what? Working hard doesn't really make you successful. Because if working hard made you successful, single moms would be successful. Think about that, right?
Right.
So this is where you have to have the workflows, the systems, the blueprint, and don't just learn from coaches like me. You got to learn from multiple coaches. But the real thing is working hard, making sure that when times get hard, tough, what are you going to do? How are you going to react? Real entrepreneurs are people that are really good at figuring shit out. You have to be a great problem solver. Don't just focus on the problem. You really want to switch your mindset and focus on the solution. So having that not give up kind of attitude, that's exactly what you need. And again, take it from somebody who wanted to quit multiple times. Grown ass man crying, broke, negative account. But I'm like, I still saw the vision. And that's where the faith comes in. You got to be like, you know what? I don't care what anybody says. My family don't believe in me. The people closest to sometimes they don't believe in you. But that's okay because God didn't give them that vision. God gave you that vision, but you have to keep going even sometimes when you can't even see it.
That's right.
So I think that's the strongest thing is just having that faith and keep going.
Man, I remember when I got into this and I actually started getting like successful and having multiple clients, most I've ever held at one time. And my wife was like, wait, you left your 9 to 5 to work all the time? She's like, this doesn't make sense. And I was like, she's like, I thought you were a business owner. I thought you were a CEO. I thought this is that. And I was like, I am all of those things. I was like, but the little catchphrase at the bottom that I tell all of my employees is also that I'm just a really, really well-paid babysitter.
Yeah.
I'm babysitting them. I'm babysitting my clients. But it's just a part of the game. Like, this is just what it is. You know what I mean? But like you said, bro, there's hard days. There's tough days. But there's also magnificent days. Like, there's nothing like those phone calls, like you said, with a single mom who's had jacked up credit her whole life, maybe has never seen someone with good credit, maybe never thought that she would get the opportunity to buy a house or to get the dream car that she wants. And it doesn't have to be a Lambo, you know what I mean? But she got kids and she wants her own Honda CRV in her name. Dude, those phone calls are the greatest phone calls. You know what I mean? So it is all worth it. It is hard though, and it is difficult. I wanted to ask you this. Do you think the best learning lesson or the way to get your feet wet is for you personally to have jacked up credit and you fix it on your own? Or do you just jump right into finding a mentor? Are you ready to turn your dreams into a reality? At Deviant Consultations, we're here to guide you, complete white glove service every step of the way. Whether you're starting your credit repair journey or you're looking to get business funding, we've got your back. Go ahead and screenshot or click the QR code below and schedule your discovery call with the team. Let's make your dreams come true together.
I love that question, and here's the reason why. I feel like the majority of people that I coach, and whether they're just starting their business or they're at a higher level, most people have had bad credit. And that's why. So they know. And I think, honestly, I'm not saying it's great to have bad credit, but you know, when you have bad credit, you know what that feels like. You know, with me personally, I tried to get an apartment, not even a house. We're not talking about buying a house. I'm talking about an apartment. Just get out of the hood. And I couldn't because of my bad credit. I've tried to purchase vehicles and they want $5,000 down. At that time, I didn't have that money. So I know what it feels like to get rejected, and not for nothing, especially as a man. You know, you are a leader of your home, you're a leader of your community, and you can't lead people if you're constantly being rejected. So you take that, and I feel like that's where the passion starts. And I was able to connect with somebody, they fixed my credit. And I'll be real honest, my credit was so bad, I paid this guy, and I'm like, he was a friend of the family, and I'm just like, if you fix it, you fix it. Like literally, that's my mentality. And this was, now granted, this was 16 years ago. And he fixed my credit, the light bulb went off, and I said, man, I need to learn how to do this because I seen how good credit, changed my life. And that's where it all started. I just really wanted to help as many people as I could because I know what it feels like. And again, that's where that seed, it was planted, and it just kept growing. I kept watering it, and it just kept growing. And that's why I always I don't chase the money. The money's great. But you know what the best feeling is, and it's a very selfish feeling, is you can't pay me enough for what I do.
Wow.
That's how I believe, because you know what? When we fix your credit, your life has changed. And I know it is, whether the client wants to admit it or not. They're buying a house, they're buying a car, they're getting business funding, they're able to open up businesses. That change, that really breaks generational curses. And so people can't pay us enough for what we do. And some of the best things that happened to me is if you Google our credit repair company, which is called Quick Tax and Credit, we have over 600 5-star Google reviews. That's just at our Dallas location, not including our Tampa, Florida location. And I got people in my Google reviews taking pictures of the house that they purchased. Like, these things have literally brought me to tears with gratitude. And, that's why I do it. I do it for them.
No, that's fire, bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think about Google reviews because, I don't have a brick and mortar.
Mhm.
But to think 500 Google reviews, how do you look more professional than that? I don't think it's possible. So that's dope. I didn't know that.
You can't make that up. I mean, listen, you could fake a couple Google reviews.
Yeah.
You're not, I think right now, actually, let me correct myself. I think we're closer to like 600 or 700,
Come on.
but you can't fake that. And in the world of social media, there's so many things that are false, so many things that are facade. And so when a client tells me, are you legit? Because anybody can create an Instagram, a Facebook, or whatever. But again, to get Google, first of all, you got to get Google verified. And it is a very long process. And for any business owner, whether it's credit repair, funding, or whatever, guys, get Google verified or go on Yelp. Make sure you got these Google reviews, because that's going to help close a deal, right? That when clients say, are you legit? Absolutely. Matter of fact, I just sent you a link. Why don't we go over some of these Google reviews together? Deals closed, right? One of the things I learned from my mentor is that people believe what they see, not what they hear. I'll say that again. People believe what they see, not what they hear. So when you're able to show them, they're like, you know what? This guy's the real deal.
That's right.
So they know what they're getting.
Okay, so let's start this thing off. Now we're at the very beginning of the journey. I'm new to this space. Let's say I have a job. You know what I mean? I haven't left everything yet, but I want to start my own credit repair company. I kind of am familiar because I had jacked up credit. So I know the steps in the process, but I'm not like a wizard and I don't have a lot of experience. I haven't done friends and family yet. I only did mine and now I reach out to you.
Yep.
What does this look like from start to finish, especially if we have this initial phone call and I'm like, I want to get to the level where I'm making 6 figures a month, bro?
Absolutely. So for those of you guys who are note takers, this is where you want to bring out your notepad and your pen.
Let's get in.
So number one, very simple. You want to make sure that you get your LLC, so get your business structured. After that, you want to get a business bank account. After the business bank account, you want to use the proper merchant account. I cannot stress this part enough. So let me emphasize on this really quickly. There's a lot of people that are using Zelle, Cash App, Stripe, PayPal, things like that. Imagine somebody doesn't know you because you just said, for example, most like everybody else I did started with friends and family. Hey, Zelle me $1,000. That's your cousin you're talking to. They don't really care. They trust you. They love you. They see you at the barbecue. They know you're a good person. But when you don't know somebody and you're like, hey, I'll fix your credit. Zelle me $1,000 or Cash App me $1,000. That right there sounds scammy.
So merchant system is like a payment processor.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're able to process payments like a Visa or MasterCard, American Express, Discover. Because again, think about it. This is exactly what I tell my students. If you call any major credit repair company, do you think you could Zelle them or cash? Yeah, right? Immediately you smile because like, nah. Right? So again, one of my favorite quotes is, the worst thing that a small business can do is to act like a small business.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. So you want to stop operating your business like a side hustle and really treat it like a real business. And having that merchant account, is very important because I've actually had students really quick is Stripe, for example, has refunded the clients their money, even though the guy is legit running the company. But if you read the agreement with Stripe, it says that you're not supposed to use, credit repair. You're not supposed to run transactions for credit repair. And so not only will they shut down the account, but they will refund all of those clients. Now you're out 5, 10 grand or however much, right? So that's the first thing, guys, to avoid that nightmare. And take it from me, that actually happened to me. So I'm just letting you know.
Happened to me, bro.
So I want to share, we're going to share a lot of wins, but I want to share my mistakes so you guys don't make them.
That's right.
So after you get your merchant account, then you want to make sure that you have a credit repair software, right? Don't do the old school stuff just by paper. Plus, you want to make sure that all of your clients' information is safe. So have a good software. And then...
Could you recommend any?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I use is DisputeFox.
Okay.
So I've used a lot of different softwares over the last 16 years that we've been in business, but by all means, and I don't get paid for saying this, so I'm not going to drop my link in there so I can get paid. No, it genuinely is one of the best softwares is DisputeFox. And then after you get your software, you got to think about, all right, are you going to learn how to dispute or are you going to outsource it? So one of the things that I realized really quickly in my journey of doing credit repair and having a credit repair business, I didn't want to send out disputes.
Okay.
I was like, man, because you know what? I like marketing. I know how to market. I was good at it. And I know how to sell. And I didn't want to have to sit back and figure out what collection goes or what letter goes with what collection, this and that and the other. It was taking too much time. And so for those of you who are doing disputes right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you spend 3 hours a day doing paperwork, well, that's 3 hours a day that you missed out on sales.
What if you don't have the funds, though, to have someone else doing the letters for you? And I'm only speaking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I'm asking you because I had to go through the progressions. I was writing out the letters for my clients. I was putting them in a big old box. I was going to the post office, sending them, and then updating my customers too, letting them know, hey, this is the day your thing went out. Now I'm going to respond back to you in 31 to about 35 days.
Correct.
Once we get a response. If the credit repair, if the agencies send you anything, please send me a screenshot of what they sent you. You know what I mean? It's normally just a stalling tactic, but I need to see it. You know what I mean? So, and I say all that just in case someone is going through that process right now. That's normal.
Yep.
But what if someone doesn't have the funds to do such a thing? You got to grind, right?
So my first question would be to that person would be, well, how much are they paying you for you to repair their credit? Because even if, let's say they don't pay $1,000 up front or anything like that, let's just say they only put down $200-300 so you could start the process. An outsourcing company is really only going to charge you $30, maybe $40. Now, of course, there are companies that charge a little bit more, but the company I use, they only charge about $30 per round.
Okay. Then.
So when a client pays you, whether it's $200, $300, $400, $500, that's not money for you to go out and pop bottles. You know what I'm saying? You You take that money, and all you got to do is take, let's say, $30 out of the $200 that they paid you, and right there, now you're delegating that work, and you can focus on more marketing and bring in more sales.
Love it. Okay.
So just it's also about finding the right company, because there's a lot of people out there that claim they can get results, but then you try them out and it doesn't work out. So with my students, I'm very transparent. I'm like, hey, this is exactly who I use. Why? Because I'm very successful in that area. I just want you to duplicate it. A lot of coaches, they want you to be successful. They just don't want you to be more successful than them. So my theory and my motto is, I'm going to give you everything. Because if I hold back that one thing, that one thing, it could be that one thing that keeps you from really taking your business to the next level, right?
Yeah.
So, hire an outsourcing company to do that. It's such a minimal cost.
Okay.
And then eventually, once you have your business, your merchant, you have the credit repair software. If you can't afford it, go high level. But again, in the beginning, if you're broke like I was, I was bootstrapping it. I didn't even know what the hell go high level was.
I didn't know what go high level was.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but these are, and this is what I love about the credit repair business. You actually don't need a lot of money to start. You need a lot of hustle, right? This is why social media is free. You know what everybody can do right now without any excuses, regardless of what your excuses are, even if they're valid? The reason why I say that is because people have valid excuses. Hey, my mom passed away, or this happened, or that happened. I lost my job. Okay, I get it. But if you want to be successful, you got to move that. My old boss used to say, you got to leave that shit at the door, right? So this is where you got to hustle. And you know what my recommendation is, or my remedy? Go crazy on social media.
I like it.
It's free. It don't cost you anything. Right? And you know what? I just made a post about this the other day talking about, and I have my own students tell me this, and I nip it in the butt very quickly. Rob, I want to be successful. I want to make $50K a month. How do I do it? And then on top of it, they follow that up with saying, well, I don't really want to post on social media.
Yeah.
Think about that, right?
Yeah.
So in the world of credit, we're asking clients, number one, to trust us. Number two, let's say that client says yes, right? They go from a lead to a client. Now, we have to collect their driver's license, their social, their proof of address. We have their entire life in our hands, really,
That's
right?
It. Yeah.
So we're taking all this information, but you don't want them to see your face?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't that sound scammy, right?
No, 100%.
So you can't want success and then not be on social media. You just can't.
I love it.
Yeah. If people don't know who you are, you're just the best kept secret.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So now we've gotten that. We've gotten our software. We figured out our outsourcing company. Let's say, what would be the next steps to really blow this thing up?
Pricing.
Ooh.
Pricing.
Okay. Talk to me about that, because everyone is different, right? Like you did say in that example, let's say they only do $300 or $400 to get started, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about, there's certain people who do like $99 a month,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Or do you hit them with, we pay and delete? You know what I mean? Like if we can, let's just break down the different opportunities
Absolutely.
and ways we could do this.
This is where a lot of people really go wrong. And I'm not just talking about credit repair. I'm talking about business 101. You have to know your numbers. So when I first started credit repair, I was charging $5,000. This is back in the day. This year will be, like I said, 16 years. Things change. So, and I know people that charge $5,000 now.
Yeah.
So again, you're right. Everybody's different, but you have to know your numbers. Meaning, really quickly, just so everybody understands, what did we talk about earlier? You got to get your LLC. You got to get your merchant account. You have to get your CRM, right? Your credit repair software. If you're using ManyChat, if you're using, like I pay for Zoom, you want to eventually get away from using your cell phone, right? So you want to have a phone system. Where's all this coming from?
Yeah.
Somebody got to pay for these bills, right? So there's a cost that's associated to, number one, acquiring the client. And number two, there's a cost to servicing the client if you're outsourcing. But even if you're not outsourcing and you're like, Rob, I'm still doing my own letters, so I'm saving money. Yes, I get it. But how much money are you spending on ink from the printer? How much money are you spending on the envelopes? How much money are you spending on printing out paper? All of these things, they don't just magically fall from the sky. So and everybody's cost to do business is a little different. But just to give you an average number, because I've done this literally over 1,000 times with multiple CROs, the average cost to acquire and to service a client is roughly about $100. So that means, in other words, if you are charging $99 a month, you're not making any money.
You're actually losing $1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. And listen, and this is exactly what I tell my students. Even though I'm telling you to charge X amount of dollars, don't even take my word for it. Like literally, don't be a yes man. Do the math. Break down your cost that's associated to acquiring and servicing the client, and you'll see for yourself how much you should be charging. So everyone that I have in my school community, and actively there's over 700 people right now, everyone is charging a minimum of $1,000. Because again, let's do easy math. Let's say it takes 4 months on average to clean up someone's credit. That's $100 a month. That's $400. So even if you're charging, let's say $600, a one-time fee, or you break it up or whatever, bro, over a 4-month period, that's only $200 that you profit. And that's exactly the reason why people get stuck, is because 6 months into operating a business or 12 months operating in a business, they're like, Rob, I've been working the last, 6 to 12 months, 7 days a week. But when I look at my bank account, it don't reflect the same.
$2,000.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a number thing. It's not a Rob the Credit Guy thing. It's a numbers thing. And you can take exactly what I just taught you right now and apply that to any of your businesses. I don't care what it is. If you don't know your numbers, you're most likely going to set yourself up for failure.
Okay. So in that example, right, you're saying $1,000 for your students. So that's $1,000 what, up front for the period of the length of our relationship? Is it $1,000 with a couple of removals, and I'm getting you to wherever you want to go, and like your relationship is good, right? All these different accounts are, because we've had I'm sure you've been in this game longer than me. It is what it is. I've seen people, they got 27 things I gotta remove, bro.
Yeah.
Like, one, this relationship is gonna be a long one. You know what I mean? So let's just get that out the way. But there's different circumstances, right? There's people who just need 1 or 2 things removed. You know what I mean? A collection or 2, plus a couple hard inquiries. The name is messed up. It's the same across the board, $1,000. And then what does that $1,000 truly get you?
Got it.
Yeah.
So this is exactly how I explain it, and I love using this analogy because it's business. Take the emotion out of it, right? If you go to the store and you buy a gallon of milk, but you don't need a gallon of milk. You're like, bro, I just want a cup of milk. Do you think you can go to the supermarket and say, hey, I just want, how much for just a cup of milk?
Yeah.
Then that's not going to happen. You got to pay for the whole gallon.
Bro.
So my rule is, and again, it has to do with numbers. So my rule is whether you have 1 collection or 20 collections. You can have 50 collections. Doesn't matter. Minimum $1,000.
Okay.
Now that's what I teach. Now my actual credit repair company, we charge a minimum of $1,500. Our sweet spot is between $1,500 and $2,000. Now I have students, I teach them the blueprint, I give them the strategy, and they're like, Rob, I love you, man, but I'm gonna charge $3,000. Now, because now they know the numbers, and so they're like, okay, it makes sense. So I don't knock anybody that charges more than me. I'm like, you charge whatever you want. It's your business, right? So when I'm coaching somebody, that's another thing I tell them. Yes, I'm your coach, I'm your mentor, I'm gonna give you the blueprint, but at the end of the day, you make the decision. So if I break down what the math is for you and you still decide to charge $97, by all means, that's on you. But at least it's kind of like the Bible. You can't look in the mirror and walk away, forget what you look like. Now you know there's no excuse. So 6 months when you still feel broke, go back and watch that video that we created about what you should be charging for credit repair.
Okay.
So, but to answer the question is in regards to if someone, for example, you charge $1,000, let's be real. Forget about credit repair for a second. Most people don't even have $2,000, $3,000 in their bank account.
Right.
So I would say about 80 to 90% of my clients, they don't pay the $1,500 at once. They break it up into payments. But this is also where you have to be strategic. If you and your disputing team are cleaning up somebody's credit in 4 months, for example, but you create a 9-month payment plan. Exactly. You know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is the way that these particular clients think is, well, you stopped working on my credit. You fixed it in 4 months, but you still got another 5 months of payments.
Run off on you.
Yeah. Not only will they run off on you, they're going to question you and look at you like you're silly. So this is let me give you some sales knowledge here. this is when I tell the client, well, if you took your car to the mechanic and it was going to be $1,000 to fix your car, he told you it was going to take a whole week to fix your car, but he got it done in 2 days. Mr. Client, do you still pay the 1,000 or do you pay him less?
Yeah, you pay that 1,000 because you're paying for the expertise.
Exactly. So if you wouldn't, and this is exactly the analogy I use because it makes sense. It becomes relatable now, right? Yeah. And so now I'm like, well, if you wouldn't do that to your mechanic, why would you do that to me?
Yep.
Oh, Rob, no, that's not what I meant. No. Well, I'm just saying. So you want to be real careful with stretching out the payment plan for too long because you're going to go from a credit repair specialist to a collection company. So you want to be very strategic. This is why you want to have standards in your company. Give your clients realistic expectations. You know, you don't stretch it out too long. So me personally, I don't stretch it out longer than 5 or 6 months because I know that the credit's going to be fixed before then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And while we're on that subject of, before we really get into it, right, the real meat and potatoes of this thing, because we've gone past the structure part, but right there you said something that's really important, and I learned this the hard way also, is I didn't have agreements and I didn't have any documentation to hold my customer accountable, right, to get my money. But at the same time, I didn't hold myself accountable because there was nothing for their protection either, right? So what does it look like if you could give a recommendation? Is it like go to ChatGPT and just get a contract agreement, or, you know, ask for a template of these are my costs. This is the allotted amount that we're going to try. Like, what does that look like to protect everybody? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So it depends on the level of business that you're at.
Okay.
Because if you're starting your business from scratch and you really don't have a lot of money, you can't even afford to hire a lawyer to create, you know, an agreement for you, right? And I believe, just like anything in life, there's different levels. So if this is my recommendation for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, just use the agreement that's in the software that you're using.
Oh, one comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So whatever software you're using, I think 99.9% of them are going to have some kind of agreement in there. Okay. And I would review that. And now, yes, we are spoiled with ChatGPT. So you can, you know, copy and paste that, put it into ChatGPT, ask it, how can I make this bulletproof? It's for not only for you as a business owner, but also for the client as well. So that way you're protected and the client's protected, and doesn't really cost you anything to go to ChatGPT, maybe $20 if you have the, you know, the upgraded version, but right, that's about it. So use the technology. It's not about, oh, well, I don't have the resources. You have to be resourceful, right? So nowadays you don't have to spend, you know, back in the day you would have to spend literally thousands of dollars. And I know because I had to do it myself. I spent like $30,000 on agreements. Bro. I wish ChatGPT existed back then because I wouldn't have to spend that, you know?
Yeah.
But another thing is too, just do good business.
Okay.
When you get your clients' results, and by the way, guys, it's not just, well, I fixed your credit. Yeah, but you didn't communicate with them for 4 months, right? So communicate. One of the things I'm going to tell everybody to keep your retention very low, very high actually, is make sure that you are communicating with your client. Make sure you're telling them on how to structure their credit profile, because it's not all about the credit score. Especially if somebody's looking to buy a house or get funding, there's a certain way that you want to prepare the credit profile. It's not always about the credit score. Okay. You have a 750 credit score and get denied for funding.
100%. No, you can, yeah, the number doesn't matter at all. It's all about the information reporting on the credit profile. Okay, so now we're past that part. We've got our agreements in order. We got some clients coming through. We got our outsourcing team. We have our CRM set up. What does it look like now to be able to put our foot on the accelerator and actually take this thing to the next level? Because there's stages of this thing, right? When you start to begin, those are all the little things that you need as a foundation to actually market and have a business. Then you feel comfortable. You start to feel yourself. You're like, okay, I got 10 and I got 5 of them results. I'm going to go market and get 10 more. And like you said earlier, social media, right? It's free. You just start making videos. You know what I mean? Now you got 10 more. Great. Now you're holding 20 clients. This is new. Now you're kind of like an actual boss, because at the same time as your business is growing, the work that your employees are doing is also growing. So now you have to look through a different lens at the same, because I know you said you have to be a hustler, you have to be a marketer. You can't only drive in one lane though. because you now have employees. You got to make sure they're doing their job, which is getting the results for your clients. Like you said, though, you could have bad Google reviews. So where do you say the number is that you kind of flip that switch, or keep in mind, hey, I've gotten this many clients. I now need to, I don't know, maybe read some self-development books, maybe find a different mentor, because leadership is a totally different hat, bro, than a hustler. We've all been street hustlers. We know how to do that. Leadership is different. Where does that number, if it is a number of clients, when do you say turn that switch on?
Well, when it comes to leadership, immediately the first thing that comes to my mind is your team is going to perform as good as the leader. And this is where you have to show up, because you can't expect your team to perform if you're not showing up first, right? You have to lead by example. And one of the things to give you and everybody else watching right now something tangible is when I started doing morning meetings every single morning without fail. What that looks like is we'll have my whole team on Zoom, because a lot of my employees are overseas. So we'll get the whole entire team on Zoom. Hey, how was your day today? Or really, we talk about the day before, actually. Hey, how many sales did you make yesterday? What kind of objections did you get? If you did 10 consultations, you closed 3. Okay, what happened to the other 7? Let's talk about that. Iron sharpens iron. And when they see that you're pouring into them, you're practicing, you're role playing, right? They see that you're pouring into them. They appreciate that, because you're taking your time out of your day as the boss to make them better. So that's what I mean by when you show up, they will perform better. And they really, really do appreciate that. The other thing is you have to make sure that everybody is on the same page. What is our goal for this month? If you don't communicate, let's say you're at 10,000 and you're trying to hit 20,000 this month. Well, if your team is not aware of that, then we're not on the same page. We got to make sure that everybody is in the same alignment, And when you do that and you communicate, now you can also set expectations. Hey, I need 100 calls from you guys every single day, right? And when you set those kind of expectations and standards, at the end of the day, if your team is not meeting those expectations and standards, now you have something to go by, right? Because a lot of bosses, what they don't do is they're like, you're fired, you're not making sales. Well, why aren't they making sales? Did you set the correct expectations? Are they making as many dials as you told them? Because if not, if you fire a salesperson because they weren't making enough dials, did you tell them to make enough dials? Yeah. Right? They can't read your mind. So you want to make sure that you have all of these rules, expectations, and standards so they can operate at your level. So I feel like that's really important, is having those morning meetings every single day. And it don't have to be, I'm not talking about 2-3 hours. I'm talking about maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes of role playing. The other 15, 20 minutes is just updates. Talking about, hey, did we have this fire to put out because this client's complaining, or whatever it may be. All of this, it creates culture. And when you do that consistently every single day, what happens is you'll start to realize very quickly that your team is performing at a whole different level, right? We as business owners, you don't need to tell me to wake up and go to work. I do that, right? I do it with a smile on my face, and I love it. And I'm an overachiever. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody in my company is going to ever outwork me, ever. But you know what? You got to keep in mind, that's why you're the boss. That's why you're the entrepreneur. So when you have employees, not for nothing, they have a 9-to-5 mindset. You have to keep, it's not about micromanaging. It's about keeping them accountable. When you keep them accountable, a lot of times they'll hit their goals, which means that you can hit your goal.
Okay. How do you come up with the systems? How do you come up with the workflow? How do you come up with holding them to a standard, especially if they go the route, like in the earlier example, you don't want to do the, or you don't prefer doing the letters, right? So they've bypassed that learning opportunity in this example. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So how now do you come up with the systems to structure to hold your employees accountable? And I'll be honest, I'll share my experience, bro. This is where I fell short. I wasn't the best, quote unquote, leader to lead my team into battle. I could energize them. I could be relatable and like the fun boss. I could come when things get hard, you can talk to me. Do you know what I mean? And I'll cheer you back up. I will wipe your face off like Rocky in the corner. You know what I mean? You got it, Rocco. Yeah. Get back out there. That was me. But coming up with systems and structure and holding people accountable, that was where I fell short. I had to hire someone to go do that and to build my systems, and they do the meetings, right? They look and track call logs. That's not my strong suit. But that was me having to realize where I fell short as a leader to go and hire someone else. Now, it did come granted later. I had money. I could hire someone. But where does that come from? If you don't have the money, how do you create those systems for this person in this example that we're given, running a CRO?
Absolutely. And you're going to love this. And everybody watching this is going to love this. Why? Because I'm going to give you the name of the system that we use. And the best part about it is that it's free.
Come on now.
It's 100% free. So it's called Desklog. Have you ever heard of Desklog before?
Never.
So I believe it's actually desklog.io to be exact. And what it does is, this is for people that have employees overseas, or if they're in the same building or in the same office, it's fine. What it does is it monitors how productive they are throughout the day.
That's fire.
Because especially when you have somebody that's not in the same office and they're remote, you're just trusting them blindly, right? You're giving them tasks and maybe they get it done, maybe they don't. You don't really know what they're doing. And especially if they're working from home and not in a physical office, it's very easy to get distracted. So Desklog, what it does is it takes screenshots of their computer. And then also it gives you a grade on like a number percentage where, for example, my employees, if they go under 80% as far as productivity, we got to have a talk. What are you doing? Why are you on Facebook all day? Because I could see it because it took a screenshot. That is extremely important. And the reason why we do that is because, again, we want to make sure that all of our employees are operating at an elite level. And again, it's not about, you being over their shoulder, but you have to have standards for your company. If you don't set the standards, you're probably operating below that. So we use Desklog to help us set that standard. And again, when you're very upfront with your employees about what you expect, because I used to have a problem about firing people. One of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my business, and thank God I've gotten so much better with it, is holding on to an employee longer than I should have.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why, I would hold on to them is like, man, I trained them and now I got to train somebody else. But you know what? It's like, that's like being in a bad relationship. How long you going to hold on to that if you know it's a bad relationship, right? So you don't want to hold on to not a bad employee, but it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They're just not a good fit for you. Right. And when you set those expectations, like I said earlier, when they don't meet those expectations, you don't have to fire them. You know why? They fire themselves. Because this is what I was expecting. You didn't meet it, so it's okay. Think about it like sports. You just didn't make the cut, bro. Right? Yeah. So, but you can't do that if you don't set the expectations.
Absolutely.
So having a system like Desklog, which is free, doesn't cost you anything. That helps you manage your entire team, whether it's one person or 10 people. The other thing is that, the other system I use is called Slack. Have you ever heard of Slack?
Yep, absolutely.
So with Slack, they call it channels. So, and that also is very, very, very inexpensive. Use Slack because they call it channels. I like to call it departments. Because if you think about it, if you have an office building, you're going to have your sales department, your marketing department, and Slack allows you to break it up into different channels so everything is organized. Right now, if you're treating your business like a side hustle, you're probably using WhatsApp. And if you're using WhatsApp, right, when you have a conversation, it gets pushed all the way down. You're like, damn, I got to keep scrolling to find what I was looking for. With Slack, you don't have to worry about that. So these are the two main systems that I use outside of like Go High Level and stuff like that,
Okay, I got you. So now we got our team, we got the structure, we have organization, we have expectations. At that level, right, let's say we have 4 or 5 employees, maybe 3, 3 or 4 employees. What is the cap, you think, of that team right now that you have in the organization of a dollar amount? And then when is it time to kick it into another? Like, what would you say is your recommendation, right? You got 3 employees underneath you. You're probably operating like 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Now it's time we want 20. Because initially when you came to me, you said you want 100.
Yep.
Right? But there's stages to it. So when is the next graduation level?
The first thing I think of is sales.
Okay.
Because one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make is they're like, man, I need a sales rep. And I get it. You probably do. But sometimes you are not ready for that. a sales rep sounds amazing because then you're like, man, I'm gonna get a sales rep and he's gonna make all these sales. Okay, but what leads?
Mm.
So if you hire a sales rep, but you're not feeding them every day, okay? If you don't feed them, they're literally gonna go hungry, and they're gonna end up quitting. And the worst thing that you want to happen for you is for you to hire a very good sales rep, and then you lose them because you can't provide enough leads. So I've been doing this so long to where I broke it down where it's easy math. You need to be able to provide your sales reps every single day with a minimum, notice I said minimum, of 5 to 10 brand new leads. Now, if you could provide them more, that's awesome.
Every day.
Every day.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean, and let me clarify, that doesn't mean you hire a sales rep and they just wait for 5 to 10 leads to come in. No. They're still dialing other leads, right?
Okay.
The older leads. But you want to make sure you're giving them a fair chance. So for every 5 to 10 brand new leads, well, let me rephrase that. For every 5 brand new leads, they should be closing at least 1. So think about that. Easy math. If you have 10 brand new leads, they should be closing minimum 2 deals per day. That's 20%. Do the math. 2 deals per day. That's 10 deals a week. That's 40 sales a month. That's a lot of freaking money, especially if you're doing it how I'm telling you, which is $1,000 a month.
40
excuse me, $1,000 per client.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's very easy to scale, but you want to make sure that, again, you're constantly feeding. That's why I run paid ads.
Okay, I was just about to ask, how are we now generating that many leads? Because you can do, you know what? Now that we're here, what is your view on paid ads? Is that the best way to generate new leads?
The best way to generate leads is every way.
Okay.
It's every way, because I don't want somebody watching this to say, well, Rob said run ads and that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah.
No, I want everybody to know I go out, I meet realtors, I meet loan officers. I got some solar companies that send me business. I have a couple car dealerships that send me business. Those leads, honestly, a lot of times are going to be better than what you can get on social media, but it's not an everyday thing. It's in business, if you really want to scale, you have to have the key word is consistency.
Okay.
Right? Because you can have a referral partner, but this is the problem. It's very time consuming. And really the key word for that is relationship. You're building relationships with these people, and that's why they're sending you leads. But we get to a point where we don't have time to really nurture those relationships. So it's not like you give up on them, but now you're on to other things. So now this is where organic traffic comes in. You're posting every day. You're being faithful. You're posting 3 to 5 stories every day, 3 to 5, reels, if not more, if you can. So organic is great, but then you run into the same problem. Just because you post doesn't mean you're automatically going to get leads, right? Unless if you're like some people who just have a talent where they can just blink their eyes, create a video, and then it goes viral, right? I don't even have that talent. Mm-hmm. So I can't rely on that. Most people cannot. What can you rely on? Paid ads. But I'm very careful when I say this because you do have to have a good commercial. If you have a crappy commercial, it's not going to convert. I don't care how much money you throw at it. So you have to be able to say, and here's again, for you note takers, very important. Your goal in your ad, in your commercial for Facebook and Instagram, you want to try to answer all of their concerns and questions within about 60 seconds. Because then it's almost like you become a mind reader. So when you're running ads and you have that formula and it works, that's when you start, pouring more money into it. But for those of you who are just starting, the best thing to do, and let me let you know, you don't need thousands of dollars to run ads. You know what you need? $25, maybe $30 a day. That's it.
Okay.
Right? So it doesn't cost a lot. So if you do $25 a day, that's $175 a week. One deal that you close pays that back.
Yep.
If you can't close one deal, you definitely need me to coach you for sure. So, you want to make sure that you're starting off slow, and then that's not going to bring you a ton of leads. Let me just tell you. So you might get 5 leads a day, you close 1. Once you see that pattern, it's at that time it becomes a no-brainer. Let me turn it up a little bit. Let me go from 25 to 50. Then from 50 to 75 or $80. Then eventually, like right now, I'm doing about 15 to 20 grand a month on paid ads.
Okay.
Last year I spent close to $200,000, but I didn't start like that.
In paid ads.
And paid ads, correct. Yes.
What does the dollar amount do different for Meta? Like, what does bumping it up? Like you said, you started with $20, right? Mm-hmm. 30 days in a month, you're at $600. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what is the difference between a $600 investment to a $20,000, $30,000 on Meta? Like, what does that truly mean for anybody out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing I would also add is, again, increments.
Right.
Don't just, because you don't want to, what if you're like, Rob, money's not an issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off like you. I'm going to do $500-$600 a day or whatever that is. I honestly think that's reckless.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know if that ad is going to convert. So the first thing is start off slow and then go up through increments. But then also you want to throw in, let's say you have a very good video that's converting. Now what you do is you don't just rely on that one video. That's dangerous. Why? Because eventually that video becomes stale. People see it over and over and then it just kind of, it doesn't stop working, it just slows down, right? And I don't know about you, but that's not attractive. So you want to create another video where now, okay, you make the same video. This part is very important. If you find something that works, do it again. If you find something that works, do it again. But this is what you do. Something simple. Like I like wearing hats, so change up the hat, change up the shirt. The background is going to be different. But ultimately, you're saying almost the same thing that you said in the commercial that worked, but you're just tweaking little things. That's it. If it worked once, it's probably going to work again. And then now you do what we call as A/B testing. You throw in a third video. Now you got 3 videos running, same ad spend. So let's say $600 or whatever it is. Now you're spreading that out to see which is the best performing ad. So whichever is the best performing, you might want to move that one out, move the other one is. So you're actually you're trying to outperform yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Always be working to get the best video, and you want to run as many videos as possible. Why? Because when your audience, because that's exactly what they are, when your audience sees you in a different light, they're like, man, I can't stop seeing this guy. Every time I turn on my phone, he's in a different ad. Now you go from being a small business owner in their mind to be like, man, this guy's everywhere. He's huge. And so now they're able to, again, get a kind of different flavor, which eventually makes them click. Gotcha. So, but again, that's a process. That's where the real coaching happens, because people really don't know this.
Yeah, no, not at all. And okay, so just so I can kind of go back and put them in like an order, we had at very first, you said that you were working with car dealerships and solar companies. So that's essentially you set up like an affiliate program, right? Like those are giving you affiliates, warm leads. Those are great, like you said, but those take time. That takes a lot of nurturing and relationships. And once you're scaling and getting bigger, you don't have the time to be out there continuing that relationship. Also, you might have to do like kickbacks, right? Because no one does anything for free. So keep that in mind, that you don't make the same amount, right? Second one was short form content, which is just like you're saying, 3 to 5 reels, clips, stories all the time. Then also paid ads. What about like cold calling or just like DMing or like, I don't know, paying for leads? Mm-hmm. Do you suggest any of these, or do these fall under the umbrella of like do everything?
Well, let's start with paying for leads.
Okay.
So before I got into credit repair, I used to sell insurance. And anybody watching right now, if you sold insurance, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We used to pay for leads. And at the time, I was paying between $65 per lead up to about $100 a lead. But here's the biggest problem. It's not that it was expensive, even though it was, but it's more about when you buy that lead, you got other other insurance companies calling those leads. And I actually tried that with the credit repair industry as well. Same problem. So think about that. You just paid top dollar for this lead, but then you got other competitors calling them literally while you're on the phone. The phone's ringing and they're like, hold on, let me pick that up. I'm like, don't pick that up. No. And yeah, right. Yeah. And so, cause we're all fighting for that lead. So I didn't like that. And I'm all about working smarter, not harder. So when I started running the paid ads, these clients, these leads, they come directly to you and it's not shared, you know? But the reason why I tell people do market in every way, because again, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket, but running ads done properly is something that you can count on. So that's my take on how to be consistent, is always run ads, but don't just rely on that. Still do the affiliates. Another thing you can do, you mentioned about paying your affiliates. You can do that. Like I actually pay my clients, my credit repair clients, when I fix their credit, I'm like, hey, if you have any friends or family members, we'll knock off $100 if they're still actively in the program. We'll knock off $100 off of your payment. That's dope. Or if they already graduated from our program, we're going to send you $100. You could do the same thing with a realtor, a loan officer, offer them $100. And you don't want to, again, this is where you got to know your numbers, because you don't want to overpay them, because then it cuts into your profit. So You got to be careful with that. But that definitely gives them incentive. Another way that you can market and team up with realtors and loan officers is do home buyers events. Try to get on stages. When you get on stages, now you're elevating your status as well. Because who's going to step on their stage if they don't know what the hell they're talking about?
Yeah.
So
you make yourself like an authority in the space.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you think that individual right there in their CRO, what level should they be at? Or like, let's put a dollar sign to every single thing that we're talking about. If that person now is doing paid ads, organic traffic, we're going to bypass buying for leads. We're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not doing none of that. So organic, we're doing paid ads. We have an affiliate program, right? We have some people sending us some warm leads. And where should that person be revenue-wise? Where do you think that individual should be at?
Well, I would say at that point, you got 4 employees. Let's say 2 of them are sales reps. If they're hitting their numbers, 2,000. You could easily, with 2 reps, you could hit $100,000 a month.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And that's okay. And the reason why I'm glad that we're here now, right? Because that's what everyone wants to jump into this. And it's not that it's only life-changing at 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Life-changing is at 10. To be honest, bro. Normal people are making $50,000, $60,000 a year. You're making $10,000 a month. And let's be real, you're not really doing the work. You're bringing it in because you're the face of your company. But in this example that we were just talking about, your team is doing all of the work, right? So you're really coaching, you're really being a leader, and you're making a killing more than you've ever touched. So now that this person is at 2 sales reps, and they're doing about 40,000 each, so they're about $80,000. Do you say now expand your team because you've known what is possible? You know that you can do it at this level. The only way to make more, obviously, is to grow. Do you say step on the gas and pour in and buy more people? Not buy. Get more employees and really see where you can take this thing off to the moon? Or what would you recommend to that individual you are their mentor? What would you say to them?
Absolutely. I mean, when I first hit 20,000, 50,000, number one, celebrate all your wins.
Come on now.
That's number one. Celebrate all your wins. But if you're anything like me, I'm happy, but I'm not complacent. The most dangerous place that you could be is in your comfort zone. And I feel like when you're on an incline, you don't never know when it's going to go down. You never know when life's going to hit you. So put your foot all the way down on the gas. Even if you were at $1 million a month, that's my goal, right? I'm not there yet, but that's what I strive to do. Well, even if I don't hit it, I'm aiming for it. And if I fall short at 500,000 a month, I'm okay with that, right?
Right.
So, and that's where we're headed. But so I would just say, man, for anybody, regardless at your level, you want to keep duplicating what you're doing. Now, this is very important. In order for you to, for example, the first thing I would do, you're at $100,000 a month, 2 sales rep, 2 customer service, you got the outsourcing, everything's running smoothly. The next thing you want to do before you hire another sales rep, again, ask yourself, can you provide enough leads for that one sales rep? Because if you hire another sales rep, but you don't increase your ads and you have the same amount of leads, guess what? Now they're splitting the same amount of leads. So that can cause some turmoil in your company.
Yep.
Because now you just made your other 2 sales reps that got you to where you are, you're making them make less money. You're still making good money, but now they're not happy. So you got to be able to provide everyone the same amount of leads, if not more. That way everybody's eating, including yourself. So that's the first question I would ask myself is, can I provide more leads to the new sales rep? The other thing is you want to make sure you have a sales script. The reason why you want to have a sales script is because when it comes to training your sales reps, a new person, it becomes a lot easier. You want everybody saying the same thing. Look at these major companies like AT&T, T-Mobile, and all these companies. When you call them, whether it's a sales situation or a customer service, they're reading off of a script, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that they do is duplicatable. So as you continuously grow your business, whether it's customer service, whether it's sales, every department in your business, you should be documenting all of that. Why should you be documenting all of that? Because as you grow, you're going to need to train someone. And if you're just kind of winging it, like, hey, you have customer service experience, you'll be all right. Yeah, exactly, right? That sounds horrible,
Yeah,
right? So,
right.
but that's what a lot of people do,
Yeah.
and they end up firing them. But again, it all goes back. It goes back to basics.
Yep.
It goes back to setting expectations and standards. So you want to make sure that you're documenting everything because that's how you duplicate your business.
Got you. So really the turning up. Oh, I wanted to ask this. I'm sorry. What do you know to pay your sales reps, or how do you like figure out a dollar amount or a percentage to divvy that up? Like, what would you recommend? Because you've done this for so long,
Mm-hmm.
you've trained so many different people, you've helped CROs grow and scale. What is like the number or the percentage? I don't know. How does it work
Yeah.
out?
It also depends on where you're getting your employees from.
Okay.
So, I have employees in Jamaica. I have employees in Nigeria. I have employees in Dominican Republic, the Philippines, Mexico, literally all different countries. So right now we have on the credit side, we have 23 employees. The only American really is my brother. Everybody else is in a different country. And 7 of those people are sales reps. And when you got to keep in mind the currency is different. So you can accidentally overpay them. So you have to be real careful with that because if they're overpaid, what's the incentive for them to keep making more sales, right? So yeah, that's the first thing you got to figure out. Do you have an American sales rep or is it a employee overseas, right? So mine, I would pay them on average about $8 and then plus a commission for every deal that they make, whether it's $15, $25. I actually work off of a tier system. So let me explain that really quickly for everybody else who's, at this level. $8 an hour. The first deal is $15.
And this is in their currency, right?
This is
$8.
this is an American.
$8 American.
This is an American
and so
dollars.
however it gets
When you
distributed.
pay them, it
Okay.
does go into their currency.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's $8 an hour, and then the first sale of the day is $15. If they make a second sale in the same day, it's $25. If they make 3 sales in a day, it goes up to $50. And then every sale after that is $50. Why do I do it like that? It's based off of a tier system because now you're incentivizing your sales rep to hit more than one deal every single day. And then on top of that, when they hit their 10th deal, I also give them a $100 bonus. So now you're not just incentivizing them daily, you're also incentivizing them on a weekly basis. Now, if they hit 20 deals, like my top sales rep, his name is Jeremy, freaking love that guy. He's in DR and he hits 15 to 20 deals almost every week.
So it's resetting every week.
Absolutely.
Okay. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
How are you finding all of these different people all over? Dude, you were saying different states. You're saying, or not even states. You're saying different countries, continents, bro. Where are you finding these employees?
Man, I used to go to Upwork. I used to try to steal employees from Starbucks. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because it's think about like Chick-fil-A. Those are like quality employees.
The best.
But you know what? I personally, this is my own journey. I really haven't had a lot of great experience with hiring people off the street. Okay. Now, I'm not saying if you tried it, you may find somebody, right? That's just me. I just didn't. Also, it's very time consuming to try to find just the right employee. And I ended up hiring a recruiter. And how I found this recruiter actually was at an event like CreditCon. I think it actually was CreditCon, to be honest. And this was years ago. And this is why it's so important to go out and network and be in the right rooms, right? Because I met a recruiter. Her name is Michelle. And she has been, listen, if it wasn't for Michelle, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Shout out Michelle.
Yeah, shout out Michelle.
Yeah.
So her company is Everybody, I think it's Everybody Solutions or something like that. But she's absolutely amazing because she trains them. And I still have to train my employees. So they're trained with basic knowledge. Because you got to think about it. They're in a different country. Credit really doesn't exist.
That's what I was going to say.
So she teaches them the basics of it. And then I go ahead and train them, because nobody's going to train your employees better than you. That's just my thought. So I do train them. And then, we do the interviews, all that. So you're in control of everything, but she finds the quality people for you.
Dude, and as you were speaking, because they are in so many different places all over the world, they don't have our holidays either. So they could literally be working 24/7 because everyone's on a different clock. Plus, they don't acknowledge the holidays like us. So you don't have to worry about Memorial Day or Thanksgiving. Like your people are still working while you celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's fire to like do it all over, not just say South America is where I'm going because I found great people in South America. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's strategic. I don't know if you thought, you probably did, but I'm just saying, good move.
They do have, and I think it's also really cool because I get to learn different cultures. And like my employees that live in Nigeria, they celebrate different holidays that I've never heard of, but that's because we live in America, right? And so it's pretty cool to hear their culture and, stuff that they do and what they celebrate. And I love it. And of course, they take days off just like we do.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, they work almost 7 days a week a lot of times. And I don't, by the way, that's not my company standard. Just let you guys know, I'm not saying you got to work, no. The reason why they go over and above is because of how much me and my wife have poured into them. And like, for example, my top sales rep that I just mentioned, his name is Jeremy. He was able to buy a house, new construction. Do you understand? So that specific employee, he makes more than what a doctor makes in Dominican Republic by doing sales. And that's a blessing. He sent me a video of the construction. He just bought a Jeep just recently. Like we are blessed, and then it's our job to be a blessing. So it goes beyond just making money, right? You want to make sure that you have the structure in your business so that way you can not just change your clients' lives, but your employees' lives. And so you want to make sure that also you're paying them enough. That's another thing. You could have good employees, but if you're not paying them enough, they're going to leave somewhere else. So having those daily meetings creates that culture, and providing them enough leads makes them want to work. Yeah. I've had employees here, at our office, American employees physically coming into the office, but I'm sorry, I'm American. I was born, I'm Puerto Rican, but I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And a lot of Americans, they don't want to work. They want to get paid, but they don't want to work.
No, you're right.
You hire some, at a Nigerian, Dominican Republic, man, they're so appreciative. They'll go over and above for you.
And in that example that you were talking about with Jeremy, people need to know, like, we're the only country that runs off credit so that we can actually purchase a home with a percentage of money. For Jeremy to go buy property in the Dominican Republic, he had some bread.
It's huge.
Come on now.
Huge thing.
That's awesome. Not only for you, that speaks praises to you, but that also shows what is possible. And big shout out to Jeremy for putting in the work to be able to go put a huge down payment on a house in the DR, because they don't do credit. You know what I mean? So, dude, that's all. Okay. So now we're here. We're really going, right? Yep. Pedal to the metal. You're constantly having to train, though, I'm assuming. One, is that the biggest hurdle and the obstacle? Actually, no, scratch that. Let's say while you are scaling, where does the biggest hurdle or obstacle normally come? Where's the blind spot? Because let's keep it buck. You're making super content. You're making crazy buku money. You're spending crazy buku money like you've never have, right? You just act this way. It's just normal, right? Especially for Americans. We do things we always dreamed of being able to do. You kind of get loose, right? Mm-hmm. So where are the blind spots as you are scaling this thing that we should let the audience know? Be aware of this and just keep it in the back of your mind. Look for this.
Absolutely. I have multiple bank accounts. And here's the reason why. When I first started making money, you described me just now. That's what you just described. And so back in the day, but I changed my ways. Like the prodigal son, I came back.
Come on now.
And because again, I don't come from much. My dad was a dope dealer, so not that I lived that lifestyle, but my dad did. So I was born into that. And when you start making money, a lot of times you spend it faster than you even get it. Right, it's gone. And that used to be me. But I changed my ways. So this is what I recommend for you note takers. Have multiple accounts. Why? You want to have an account where you do your payroll. You want to have another account where you just for processing. You want to have another account for marketing. So you're able to break up all of your expenses and everything that is necessary to operate your business. Because I see this all the time where CROs, they hire an outsourcing company, but then they can't even afford to pay the outsourcing company. Remember we talked about it earlier, how if somebody pays you $200-$300, that $30 or whatever it is to service that client, that should have been designated into that account. Right. So at the end of the month or end of the week, however your outsourcing company charges you, you have that money already there. And so this is how you operate a business and not go broke. Again, most people, they don't do that. They're just there it goes back to they're treating their business like a side hustle. So having multiple accounts and really doing your bookkeeping is going to keep you afloat. And then you'll be able to know how much you can also pay yourself as well. This is why knowing your numbers is so important.
Yeah. So the burn rate, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing on a weekly basis, a monthly basis to keep the company growing and to scale to the next level? Okay. So money essentially is where you would say keep your eyes on as you're scaling this thing.
Put it this way. If you don't have no money, you can't scale.
Okay. Got you. So now let's say we're hitting $100,000 a month and you want to put this foot on the gas, right? Now we're hitting 200,000, maybe hit 300,000. This is the part where you need to hire another you essentially to actually watch over, like you're saying earlier, the different departments, the sales team, your leads team, whatever. Like, do you need a manager? Do you need, I don't know, a COO? What would you say to that CRO who's hitting it and is being really successful in this role? But now it's time, hey man, it is time to spend a little bit more money, and it's probably going to be an American, right? So it's going to be probably the biggest expense in your company. But is this the level that you would recommend that hire?
I think once you start hitting $100,000
Okay.
a month, honestly, when I first made my first 100,000, I hired a manager.
There we go.
And why? This is exactly the reason why. You want to really stop being a manager in your business and really elevate to the next level. Because when we first start, we're wearing a lot of hats, and that's okay. Everybody starts there. You have to. You should know how to do everything in your business. In the event something falls off, you could take over, or you train somebody else and they can take over, right? But it gets to a point where yes, you do want to hire a manager, and not only that, this is where you really want to 10x what Grant Cardone would say. You want to 10x your marketing, because now you're delegating the sales, you're delegating the customer service, the disputing, all of that. So what are you doing? That don't mean you go on the island and just enjoy the money that's coming in, because if you do, you'll end up losing. I promise you. Again, being comfortable is the most dangerous place that you could be. So this is where you want to be everywhere. You want to hit up every networking event. You want to, maybe if you can, depending on where you're at and how your finances look, hire a videographer to follow you around. The more eyeballs, listen, let me tell you guys something. You know what we're fighting for?
Talk to him.
We're not fighting for credit repair leads. You know what we're fighting for? We're fighting for attention. And whoever has the most attention wins. That's what we're fighting for. And so for those of you who don't want to post, you're not going to win. Sorry. You're just not.
Right.
Why? Because every time they turn on the phone, they're going to see Rob the credit guy. They're going to see you, right?
That's right.
So that's what we're fighting for. Think about that. The more people that see you, put it another way you could flip it is, if they don't know who you are, they can't buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you don't even have to be, that's the crazy thing. You don't even have to be the best. You don't.
No, you don't.
You don't have to be the best. But there's two skills that everybody needs to learn if you want to make it to the top level. Number one, marketing. Number two, sales. Because if you're getting the leads, but you can't close them, that's a whole nother problem, right? And this is another thing in sales or just any business at all. I need more leads. I need more leads. Okay, but you can't even close the ones you got. So how about this? How about you take a course on how to sell? Because one way that you can save money on leads and advertisement is increasing your percentage of your sales. If you can close at 80% of the people you talk to, how much more money can you save on ads? Right? Yeah. So a lot of people think I need more ads. No, you just suck at sales.
Yeah.
You need to get better at sales.
Close what you already have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now that we're at this level, do you recommend every single person become a mentor or start a school community? Because that is another vertical that you can create off of the skill that you've already learned. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Do you pivot? And this is when you tell them, hey, now that you're here at this level, you're successful, you have these many testimonials, you can share your blueprint, go become a mentor, go start into a school community. And the reason I'm asking is because I feel like not everyone has that skill. Like, not everyone is actually, I don't know how to put this nice. You could do it, but you can't.
First of all, don't make it nice. Just say
like,
you gotta say
you
it.
can't teach. You
Yeah.
cannot teach. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be real. Someone could pay you, but you don't know how to actually teach them because you're not good at it. You just market really well and you hire really well, but you're not good. So that person isn't going to be good. And that's just how I feel about it. Anyone else could take it any way they want. But how do you recommend people going into this world, man?
I think we're both going to get a little bit of hate on that, but I'm okay with that because I want all the smoke.
Let's do it.
So I'm talking to all the coaches right now, especially in my space.
Mm.
I don't really do funding. I do credit repair. I'm the best there is. There's no other coach that's better than me. And here's the thing. When you're making $40,000 a month and you think that you should be a coach, stop that. Stop playing around. And here's the reason why. Most people, after 6 months of doing business, I'm not hating on anybody. But what I'm saying is, it took you 6 months, you're making 40 grand. You don't have that longevity. There's still a lot of hurdles. And this is positive feedback. There's a lot of hurdles that you still have to overcome. And one of the main reasons what makes me a good coach is I fell on my face plenty of times. And so all of the challenges that anybody watching it right now, all the challenges you're having in your business, I can almost guarantee you, I've had it multiple times. So, a lot of my failures become your wins. So when you have that longevity, when you have that experience, then I would say, okay, maybe become a coach. But you're right. I know people right now that are making millions of dollars, right? They're killing it.
Right.
And congratulations to them. But they suck as a freaking coach. And that's the thing. Just because you're making money doesn't mean you can teach someone. It takes skill, it takes passion, and it also takes a lot of patience. Inside of my school community, one of the things that people tell me is, Rob, you give it all. I'm like, why not? Why not? Because at the end of the day, there's people that are going to take that information and do nothing with it. And my prayer is that everybody that pays me for coaching and mentoring, I pray that they go through my school community 10 times. Why? Because you can't just go through it once and then think you know everything, right? It's continuously every single day. You got to practice, practice, practice. But you want to make sure that when it comes to coaching and mentoring, you want to make sure that you are being genuine. You're not just doing it for the money, because I promise you will lose. And if you are faking it, they may not find out right now, but they're going to find out. I have people that they come to me, Rob, I paid this guy $20,000 and I could have learned this shit on YouTube, right? Yeah. People tell me, oh, I didn't even know I had to get a merchant. Bro, you just paid this guy $20,000. He didn't teach you this? So you got to be real careful with, people get distracted.
That's it.
They get distracted with the Lambos and all this other shit and the jewelry. And listen, I get it. It's marketing. I get it. But at the same token, you can't pay me enough. My reputation means way more to me than any amount of money. So to all you coaches out there that are faking it, hey, take my hat off to you, but I'm telling you, you're not going to last long. This is why I've been doing this for 16 years. Why? Because I'm genuine, I help people, and I go over and above.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I've been locked in with you now for a little bit over a year, and I don't know anybody that pours into their people more than you or Lisa. I got to throw her in there because she's right there behind you, or actually side by side. There is no behind. So you're absolutely right. And then the point I wanted to touch on also is people do get easily distracted and they get in their own damn way. You know what I mean? Like, also, when you're in this thing and the going is getting good, keep going. Don't stop. You know what I mean? Because let's just call it what it is, man. The paper machine is printing right now. At some point, the paper machine is going to stop printing. And then what? You should have kept going when it was printing. Keep printing, so that when a rainy day comes along, you got a little something saved, you can pivot. And now you can go take all those skills and all those tools and all those resources, right? You can go do something else. But when you're in it and you've hit the milestone and the marker, maybe you do have a cap, right? Not everyone is you. I want $1 million a month. But maybe it's 50. That's life-changing. Maybe it's 100. Cool. Stay on it and stay on it. Don't jump out now and go Airbnb. Don't go Turo. Don't go real estate. Just keep going. You know what I mean? Keep hitting the milestone time after time after time. Don't get distracted. I feel like I see that more than I even see burnout. I just see distractions all the time.
Yeah, they start making money, like you said, 100,000 a month or whatever that number is, and most people have never even seen that kind of money. And now they got a friend that does Airbnb, they do real estate, and they're like, well, I'm gonna go jump into that. When you do that, and if you don't have the right systems, the right workflows, the right employees, what happens is now you're taking that energy that got you to where you are, so let's not forget that, and now you're pouring that energy into somewhere else, and a lot of times you're going to end up losing because you're doing too much. When you have the right systems, I'm not saying you shouldn't venture off, because we do credit repair, we do mortgages, we do a lot of things. But I always made sure that my credit repair company, because that's my money maker, I always made sure that that is always on an incline. Why? Because also credit is the magnet. You can't do anything without credit. So the credit is what attracts our clients, and then we offer them the business funding. Then we offer them the mortgage loans. We offer them car loans or whatever it is that they need. So if you try to do too much, I promise you, you're gonna end up losing.
Let's say right now, sitting on this couch right here was Rob 10 years in the future, and you had the opportunity to ask him one question. What would you ask him? But then, what do you think his answer would be back to you?
Oh, this is a good one. What would be the question that I would ask him?
Yeah.
And what would be the answer?
He would give you. Yeah.
I got to really think
Go
about
ahead,
this
man.
one.
Take your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would be the question I would ask him? I would say, and we got to edit this one.
No,
I
you
want
got
this
it.
one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Think about
hold
it.
on.
You good.
Whew. The question I would ask myself would probably be, ask me the question one more time, and I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So let's say Rob, 10 years in the future, is sitting right here next to me on this couch, and you had the opportunity to ask him one question. What would that question be? But then you also have to say, what do you think his answer would be back to you?
Got it. The question I would ask myself is, what would you do differently? And the answer I feel that Rob would answer is nothing. And the reason why is because I had to go through what I had to go through. I had to learn the lessons, never the losses, always the lessons. And God's never wrong. I think that would be his answer.
That's fire. I like it. I think that would be a perfect question if I had the opportunity to talk to my future self, and I hope that's how. You know what I mean? Like, you're absolutely right, brother. What we just did in about 90 minutes was literally take someone from 0 to 1.2 million. You know what I mean? And allowed them to have an understanding that it is all possible. There is going to be strategy involved. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be learning curves. But you literally gave them the blueprint of, if you do this, you can become here. If you had an opportunity right there, that's your camera, brother, to talk to a person for 45 seconds, 1 minute, and let them know, hey, this is tangible. This is doable. What would you say to that person who is standing on the ledge and just afraid to take that step, bro?
The first thing I'm going to tell you is that your vision is your vision. Don't worry about what anybody else says or thinks. You know why? Because that does not matter. You want to make sure that you never, ever give up, regardless of what your circumstances look like right in front of you. You got to keep going, because you know what? Life is hard. So you know what? You could choose your heart. You can give up, absolutely. But if you do, you'll never know what God has stored for you. So just keep going, keep grinding. And we live in a time where we're spoiled. Just pick up a freaking camera and post it. Don't worry about, being perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. You know how you get better at something? Because a lot of people tell me, Rob, I suck at content and this and that. You know how you get better? By continuously doing it over and over. And you know what? Eventually you'll get there.
I know, that's right. And then while you got them, man, let them know how they could reach you, how they could work with you, how they can get in contact with you for your school community. Let them know.
Absolutely. So you can find me on all platforms, Rob the Credit Guy. Make sure you check out our school community, which is also under Rob the Credit Guy. You can join absolutely for free. And if you want to upgrade to the winner circle, you can absolutely do that. Our coaching and mentoring, in case if you're wondering, is not $20,000. It is $97 for one-on-one coaching, unlimited access to me, so I can help you hit that $50,000 and $100,000 mark.
Boy, come on now. Dog, this one right here was a complete honor for me. I said it in the very beginning. You really were the reason I thought this could be possible. So the individual that I am today, the person that you're getting the opportunity to sit across from, you honestly played a pivotal role in it. And for that, man, I'm truly, truly appreciative. Thank you for doing this again.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. And hey, I'm going to see you again, brother.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to have to run it back for number
For sure.
3. You guys heard it here from the man himself. No one has more 5-star reviews on Google than him. So if you have a dream, if you have something you want to aspire to, double down on it. If there's something in your life that is hard, that is difficult, that everyone else around you is saying, don't do it, it's never been done, you can't do it, bunk all that, double down on it. If there is something out there that you think that you can be great at, actually scrap that you know you can be great at, I want you to double down on that. And if you ever get the opportunity to see me in the streets, please come say what's up, because I would love to meet the double down version of you. And that was today's episode.